Please. What's this unmarked van in the park?
I don't want to look to what the other cars are doing. There's a lot of people around.
People.
I keep looking in my window.
Oh my gosh. Happy New Year, digital ramblers. Welcome back. Sorry we didn't quite finish out the year like we intended, but today we are here. As you can see, Gamble, all efforts, pull off to the side of the road. He's in a park somewhere, undisclosed location. And I'm back in the Sphere bunker.
I'll share my location. I'm in Norwich today, but I'm shortly going to be heading to London. Happy New Year to everybody. 2023 is a couple of weeks old. We haven't done an episode for a while, but we're fully committed to the year ahead, delivering some excellent home tech content. But before we start the year, we almost want to finish what we started last year. We want to wrap up the top tech tips series. We said we'd do 3 parts. We're going to give you part 3 today.
Yeah, for real. We had our wingman, Mr. Mike, behind the scenes go down. And so we wanted to come back, close out what we needed to finish. And then here we're going to go forward into 2023. And my goodness, Campbell, there is so much to talk about that is so different than what we've been talking about in the past. But it's all relative. It's all
relative.
And
just because I might forget this later, but if people are listening, now is an ideal time to kind of get your tech fix on social media and vlogs, podcasts, including ours. Dive into what's happening at CES in Las Vegas. Just get your tech fix of all-round tech, not just smart home that we talk about, but get a full dose of tech from CES and hype yourself up for the year ahead. Get yourself focused on your technology, whether that's vehicle, renewables, energy, home technology, communication. It's always a good start to the year, that show. There's always a lot of new things for our industry, but just the whole tech spectrum in general.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gamble, speaking of medias, we have a couple of different ways that people can stay in contact with us. And in 2023, I'm going to be doing a lot more posting on the Digital Ramble Instagram page. And it's going to be about interesting things that I just come across on a regular basis that are tech related. And Gamble, you and I, we've been pushing these things back and forth to each other. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? We've got so much content that's really cool that we have nothing to talk about, or that we don't necessarily talk about on the show, but it's super engaging, whether it be with, fully automated drive-throughs, or, robots that might be doing and fulfilling different needs, or, water fountains was one that I posted that had some really crazy engagement with. So be looking for the Digital Ramble Show. Check out our social media. We're on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. You can also see us on Facebook. Where else, Gamble? Where else are we located?
I think we're on Elon Musk's Twitter. I think we're there.
Yep.
We're
there.
There's all very well being there. We don't do a lot there, so let's push for that in 2023.
You're the Twitter guy. So I'll let you handle that.
Yeah, X. Was that? Maybe I was shadow banned. No, I wasn't. Right. Let's get into episode 156. We're really racking up the numbers here. 156. Let's go.
Let's do that, and find us on 11 podcast streaming services. Push the button.
Right. Okay. Top tech tips. I enjoyed this to close out the years because it was kind of partly therapeutic, because I was able to get a lot off my chest, and some of them were a bit, almost like poking fun at some of my customers, but it's amazing what crops up from our daily interactions with homeowners, which highlights their strengths and weaknesses with technology. And today was no different. I always draw on what I did today. When I record this, I just plug into how did my day go. I don't go back more than 9 hours from now. So today I went to visit a customer. We always do a 6-week follow-up on installations, especially the larger installs where we've done lots of cabling, Wi-Fi systems, music, lighting, heating controls, which is a lot of control system for one family. And we give them some time to get used to it in their new home. And then we follow it up with a 6 week check on how they're doing. Maybe you make some changes to schedules, scenes, timers. Just give them a refresh on some of the user interfaces that they've got in front of them, like thermostats, touch screens, smart televisions, etc. And unfortunately, and I say this unfortunately because you have high hopes that this new customer is going to dive deep into their new technology in that 6 to 8 week period. But we go back and we see no schedules set, no scenes created, no active use of voice control, no new apps loaded onto their smart TVs or smart TV boxes. And I kind of give them like a bit of a frown and shake my fist. Hey, you're just not using this. And I know they're busy and they've moved into their new house, but get to know your tech, whether it's in the first 6 weeks or in the first year. Use it. Don't rely on your Home Tech Pro to keep checking in on you and keep creating simple things like schedules and scenes, or showing you again how to group audio zones or play different music in different rooms. You've got to learn your tech yourself. It's the only way you'll truly learn it, and use the Home Tech Pro for a bit of hand holding when needed.
Yeah, Gamble, we come back and we see that as well. And a lot of it is that intrepidation. They're scared, like they're going to break something. And we highly encourage, go in there. You're not going to break anything. Push some buttons. Try to set some schedules. If things start turning on awkwardly, you've done something right. Like you're at least in the right direction. We just got to get the time set correctly, or maybe the right light load set correctly. So yeah, absolutely, don't be scared of the technology is a great tip. And you got to get off the coattails of whoever you're relying on. And sometimes that's ripping the band-aid off, and just like, I could do this. I had this conversation, Gamble, more with my mom and dad than anything. I mean, it's like, Mom, it's okay. You can set the alarm on your phone. It's all right. You can do it. I don't know where I get my tech savviness. I don't think it's from my mom's side, but you know, it's okay. You're not going to break anything. At least try it. So that's a good tech tip.
What have you got for us? What's your first one tonight?
All right. Here's mine. And Gamble, I like, as we have our conversations, we always talk about experiences rather than giving, advice. And I did not know this, but my tech tips were based around passwords and backups and things of that nature. And since we had our last episode until this time, and nobody can see it, but I got a new laptop here because some punk broke into my truck and decided to take my satchel that had my laptop and my dude, like, all my company's stuff on my laptop. And
Wow.
anyways, password protected, backed up, everything. All right. So I'm very happy that I did that, because what used to be just boiling, sweating, hair pulling, like, oh my gosh, all that content. So my tech tip is uh devices. Let me see, what do I got here? I use web browsers, and different tabs for my URL, whether it's for my distribution, whether it's for my purchasing or for my bookkeeping. I have different tab groups set up in my bookmarks as well. So, and I have my tab set up to go to a certain place, and it's very easy to do that. So whenever you go to your URL, or to a website that you like, in the address bar, you'll see like a little heart or a little plus mark. And when you tap that, it drops down and says, hey, you can put this in a file or into a folder, into a tab on your bookmark. and it will neatly organize it across the top of your internet of whatever you're browsing for, and so it can make it quick and easy. And you do that by creating an account. Mine's with Google because I use a Chrome website, web browser, and so whenever I got my new laptop and I logged into my Chrome web browser, everything, all my bookmarks were left exactly how I had left them. And so that was super user friendly and gave me some peace of mind to at least get that order back in line for myself. That was the start of it.
And just following on from the theft that you've had of your property, was anything non-recoverable? Is there anything you found later that thought, oh shit, I've lost this or that, you know?
I have transitioned over to using cloud storage. So
Okay.
I use my Google Drive, I have OneDrive, and then I also have Dropbox,
Hmm.
and I have them segmented out. Like I use my Dropbox for all my family pictures and videos, and then I use my Google Drive a little bit more for business oriented documentation, and then I use my OneDrive for my employees. So we do a lot of videos and photography and things of that nature. And so I kind of have them dispersed over different cloud storages. And then from that cloud storage, I can share those folders, individual folders, with different people, as well as if I need to, I can restrict them of that access in the future.
Yeah. So, for me, an overriding thing that I'm always reminding people to do is you've got to keep on top of your backups. You've got to check regularly. When was my last backup of my phone, tablet,
Phones.
laptop? Yeah. Like
The
you
phone's the
might
biggest
think
one for
it's
me.
happening in the background, but just a simple change of settings can stop it backing up, or only back up when it's charging, and little things that it might, or it needs to be on Wi-Fi and not cellular. So those kind of things you've got to just check, because actually the time when you get unstuck, especially with phones, is you purchase a new phone or you try and recover a phone, you've lost a phone or had it stolen, and you try to do the backup and it's so out of date. It could be like months behind, and you've downloaded apps and maybe some iCloud storage, that kind of thing. So check your backups and keep them somewhere secure as well. So my second tech tip continues a theme about moaning about customers, unfortunately. So if you have a Home Tech Pro, you're a privileged person for a start. Not everyone has a tech guru, goddess, concierge, butler, tech expert on tap. When you get someone like that involved in your ecosystem, in your life, you've got somebody that's good with tech available to you, don't don't become dumb overnight. We know you're smart people, you're successful in your careers, but why do you just let go of any responsibility for passwords, logins for things? Um, when things need renewed, like TV services, telephone services, internet subscriptions that you've got, storage, antivirus. Now, fortunately for my customers, I log all these things in a protected, encrypted place. I have all these reminders in my diary to contact Mrs. X about her Netflix subscription, contact Mr. Y to renew his antivirus. I don't get paid any extra for that. That's just my kind of USP. I like to keep check on my favorite customers, and a lot of them are my favorites. I don't do this for everyone. But if I'm not available, sometimes you might have to try and do something for yourself. And this is where I see the wheels come off. So if you got Home Tech Pro, you're one of the fortunate ones. But please have a bit of a backup, a bit of It's common sense to have some of your own personal admin in order to do with your tech, even when you've always got someone to fall back on. They might be on holiday, they might not answer their phone, they might be busy, so just get your house in order for any of your tech admin.
So Gamble, with that tech admin, I mean, we kind of touched on this. I don't know. I think might have been that first tech tip season, and it was about setting your passwords. And one of the tech tips that I learned last year was having yourself like at least a 16 character passphrase. And a passphrase is something along the lines of "This is my password!" exclamation point, with a mixture of uppercase and lowercase and symbols along the way in that passphrase. And that simple passphrase can be used pretty much across the board for all of your different accounts to help you remember what that might be. Now that being said, if you have a smart tech or a home tech pro, maybe you might have a smart phrase for everything that he or she might be engaged with. Like all the technology in your house has that particular phrase, and your bookkeeping accounts have a different type of phrase, but that definitely helps reduce some of the issues of encryptions and password hacks and things of that nature. All right, good tech tip, Gamble. I got one for you.
Go for it.
Have you? All right, so they took my laptop, right? And I'm like, oh my god, they got my laptop. What accounts are on that laptop? Like, what do I have open on that laptop? And so what I got into was like I could go to Google and I could say, hey, Google, I want to make sure that my web browser on that laptop is turned off. And so I went to Google and I found all the different devices, and you can go into your manager and go into Google and just type in, hey, how do I turn off or what devices is my Google account logged into? And it'll tell you how to get to it. And so I have several Google accounts. We got the Digital Ramble, we got all. And I went in there and I saw all the different devices. Anything that I didn't recognize, I just boop 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 and turned them all off. And then I started thinking, well, what about Netflix? I mean, what about my Amazon accounts, and what about my iPads? What accounts am I signed into? And dude, it was fascinating to see iPads or iTouches, what that I had logged in from who knows when, 10 years ago, that I was still logged into, that have never taken a charge. That kind of was
Wow.
really an awakening of what I had logged into and I had never logged out of. And so that's something, as far as your digital health, your digital closet keeping and management, think like that, as a consumer, of where am I logged into? And you might find that your kids are still using your Netflix account. And it's time to terminate that relationship. You get their own Netflix account. I kid, but you know, maybe it's somebody that you gave a television to, or a hotel that you might have logged into your YouTube TV account that you forgot to log out of, that kind of stuff. You went on vacation and they had an Apple TV and you wanted to use the Netflix on there, and so you logged in and you forgot to log out. That kind of thing is something that you might want to consider.
I was reading an article on LinkedIn about how Netflix this year are going to change their service, that you can't share your account with mum and dad, sister, brother, next door neighbor. Those changes are going to come in because of their kind of rapid decline in customer signups. They're trying to plug some holes there. So that's a big one. I always also think that the poor person that's got the Netflix account that they left logged into some holiday apartment, holiday home, and the next 14 visitors have all watched and completely messed up their
Algorithm.
algorithm of, like, they were watching The Crown, and then they were watching the horror film, and then they were watching cloud babies or cocoa melon, or it's like, wow, like where my preferences have gone, out the window. So yeah, log out of Netflix if you're in a hotel, apartment, or holiday home. So right, number 3. On a lighter note, I'm not going to have a too many digs at my customers.
Not a complete
I've got some customers
not
that
a
listen.
complete gamble ramble episode for the new
I
year.
gamble rambles every day in customers' homes. I just give it to them straight. But this one is something that I've been thinking of for a couple of years, and I always think it's going to be, the next big thing that we're going to see some alignment. But and with CES happening, it makes me think. And I use this technique when I speak to customers. I always analyze what existing technology they've got, and it helps me choose or guide them on platforms and products they might use. And I look at a customer's phone. There's typically two choices. You're either Android or Apple iOS. Even just from that, and looking at what's in their pocket or in their hand, I can see a direction I might go. So from an Android point of view, it's Google all the way. So Google Home, Android TV, the Android system within their car when they plug in for their navigation and assistance via their screen in their house. Their voice preference is ultimately going to be Google. So when I'm setting up a smart speaker that might have a voice assistant, it's unlikely I'm going to set up Alexa. I'm going to set up Google. And I'm making that judgment just from a handset. Now, what puzzles me is when I see a house full of Apple, kids have got tablets, iPhones, iPads, there's Apple TVs, and then they've got a Google Home voice assistant screen in the kitchen, the hallway, and I'm like, what made you choose that? They've got a Nest doorbell. I'm like, what made you choose that? Other than great marketing, there isn't really guidance for the homeowner to stay in a lane that they've made a big investment in. They've got the tablets from their favorite Apple provider, but then they've gone completely off piste and off reservation with a Google choice for their voice control. Why didn't they go with Apple TVs, HomePods? It's just lack of signage for a consumer to know what lane to stay in. Now, if you're Apple, then stick to that path. If your preference is the Amazon ecosystem, then be aware of products that won't work with an Amazon Echo Show. You're going to struggle to see a Nest doorbell. You're going to struggle to do things with, maybe even with YouTube, you're going to struggle with an Amazon Echo Show. Likewise, you're not going to see your Ring doorbell if you've got a Google Home Hub or a Nest Home Hub Max. That kind of decisions become friction points and reasons to push back, when really the problem was you just chose the wrong product.
Thank goodness that was not a gamble ramble. I mean, thank goodness we were
Maybe
steering
it
clear
was.
of that.
Was it? I shouldn't do these so late at night. I'm tired.
Yeah. No, man, I understand, but I mean that's what I really enjoy about this show that we do, the Digital Ramble Show, is because we do try to educate homeowners about the differences, and that is super frustrating for us that know, and it's really frustrating for the homeowners that go out and make these investments, and then we come in there and we kind of like pop that balloon of excitement, that they have, and we're like, almost, but not really, and nice try. And so, friends, do not let your friends make technology purchases without consulting a home technology professional. Please, like, all listeners
my
are
golden rule.
advised.
my golden rule, my wife has to tell people this: don't buy Chris clothes or tech. He'll hate what you bought him. He'll hate.
I usually hate what I buy, what my family buys me immediately, but after about 6 weeks, it's like, maybe I'll try those shoes. These are getting a little weary. All right. Number 3 for me, Gamble.
Let's go.
All right. If you're ever in a situation that you have to use a public computer and you get on and you're on Google and you do like a search and maybe you have to go check an account or something, like you're going to do some shopping and you log into your Amazon and you put your password in there and that kind of thing, don't click on save password. I mean, that's the first one. If it ever pops up at the top, make sure it doesn't say, if it says save password, say never for one. The other thing is if you're in a web search engine of whatever it might be, up at the top, make sure it's in guest mode. And if you're signed in or somebody signed in, sign them out so you're as anonymous as you possibly can be. And then finally, whenever you're done searching or doing whatever you're done doing, if you go up in the top of your URL in that top right hand corner, there's usually and I'm talking Windows, I don't know about Mac, but do the same thing for Mac wherever it might be. But go up there and clear your history. And what that'll do is it'll clear all your history of wherever you searched. It'll clear all the history of whoever was on there before you as well. And they will thank you for that, because some of those people did not know to not say save my password. And if you really know what you're doing, you can see the username and the password, which is super freaking dangerous. So if you are on a public computer and you use a web something or another to get online, to do some searching, to enter passwords, if you're on there just searching for kittens at the local adoption center, who cares? Go top right corner, go clear history every time, and the world will thank you for that simple clear history choice there. That's my 3.
That's good. I can imagine. I've got this scenario in my head, or a scene where, like the spy movies where they go to the internet cafe and they're spotted on CCTV, and he booked a flight to Bucharest, Bolivia. Which airport has he gone to? He got on this bus. He deleted his search history. We can't track him. That I think you're ex-CIA or something, JJ. Like MK Ultra.
Oh, you figured me out.
Jason
Ultra.
Bourne.
You see my butterfly wings?
Yeah.
Oh man. So what episode was this, Gamble?
156.
156. Goodness gracious. Are we going to try to get are we going to try to get at least 40 in this year? Is that what we're shooting for?
Let's aim to get to episode 200 by the end of the year. That would be pretty good. And let's, fingers crossed, this year, if it's possible with restrictions, some still in place, can we do an episode together this year? That would be great. Together in the same place.
All right.
Maybe.
I hear some music coming. I hear some music playing. All right. Well, very good. Mr. Mike back there, he's telling us, he's giving us the countdown. We got 1 minute left. 1 minute left. All right. digitalrambleshow.com. You can shoot us an email at digitalrambleshow@gmail.com. You can find us on 11 podcast streaming services. Share, tell all your friends. This is the home technology professional show that you want to be listening to. All right, Gamble.
Do you know you can also ask your voice assistant to play the latest episode of the Digital Ramble? You can just ask that and they will play the episode.
It ain't going to break. It ain't going to break.
We'll come and fix it.
Till next week.
Cool. Good to see you, mate.
All right, later.